Hello, welcome back. Fluffy here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We have a good one today, folks. Raid has released information for the new October fusion, the Halloween fusion. Now, along with the champion for the fusion, her partner champion, they also released what I think is a teaser for the new Mythical that is going to be released as well. No information about that from my knowledge, but so far, first, this is Gretel. She is going to be the fusion. Now, her kit. A1, Evil Undone. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. If Hansel, Witch Hunter, her partner champion, is on the same team, attacks all enemies instead, has a 25% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places an extra hit against enemies under any buffs. This can be booked up to a 75% chance of landing if she's by herself, and a 50% chance of landing if she's with Hansel. The A2, Shadow Seeker. Bolts. Attacks one enemy 4 times. The first hit will ignore 10% of the target's defense. The second hit will ignore 15% defense, the third hit will ignore 20% defense, and the fourth hit will ignore 25% defense. If this attack kills an enemy, resets cooldown of this skill, and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%, booked to a 3-turn cooldown. The A3, Sacred Ritual. Attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 25%. If Hansel Witch Hunter is on the same team, decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 50% instead. This effect cannot be resisted. Then fills this champion's turn meter by 20% for each enemy alive after the attack. Booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Her passive, Sisterly Bond. Passive effect. Fills the champion's turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy is granted an extra turn. If Hansel Witch Hunter is on the same team, also fills their turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy is granted an extra turn. Active effect. If Hansel Witch Hunter is on the same team and is killed by the enemy, instantly activates Sacred Ritual. So the A3 here. Increase, and the aura is increase ally attack in all battles by 30%. Legendary, Force, Affinity, Sacred Order. Now her partner champion, I'm assuming she's going to be either guaranteed somehow, or probably in a whole bunch of progressives. Now, his Sacred Order as well, but his magic affinity attack, legendary. A1, Purge All Evil. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. If Gretel is on the same team, attacks all enemies instead. Has a 25% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places an extra hit on enemies under any debuffs. This can be booked up to 75% chance on his own, or 50% chance with Gretel. A2, Sanctified Knives. Attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore shield and unkillable buffs, grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. Will ignore 15% of each target's defense. Also increases the cooldown of one random skill on each enemy by 2 turns. If Gretel is on the same team, will ignore 30% of each target's defense instead. Will also increase the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns instead. This cooldown increasing effect cannot be resisted. Booked to a 3-turn cooldown. His passives. Brotherly Bond. The passive effect reflects all fear and true fear debuffs from this champion to the attacker. If Gretel is on the same team, also reflects all fear and true fear debuffs placed on Gretel back to the attacker. Active effect. If Gretel is on the same team and is killed by the enemy, instantly activates Baneful Burst. Oh, that's the RCA3 name, I forgot to read that. Aura is ally attack in arena battles by 33%. Now, this passive, I wonder if this will work in Hydra. Even though the Hydra heads can't be feared, I wonder if it'll still reflect it, but it won't put them onto the Hydra heads. It'll just prevent them from getting feared. I wonder. So that's the new. Those are the new partner champions coming to Raid. I reckon it's going to be interesting how they're going to work by themselves and how they're going to work together. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.